The airport is a must-see. Jungkook touched Jimin's heart with an unexpected speech. That morning, the Seoul sky looked gray, as if reflecting the mood of thousands of soldiers who were still wondering where Jimin and Jungkook were actually going. Incheon International Airport is filled with curious whispers. There is no official notification from HYB, no public schedule listing the departure of two BTS members at once. However, the camera highlights and rumors quickly spread. Jimin and Jungkook are seen rushing towards the VIP terminal. However, what left everyone speechless was not just their presence, but the expressions of both. Jimin looked nervous, even looked down occasionally, wearing a large mask and oversized jacket, while Jungkook walked quickly beside him, occasionally turning his head as if to make sure Jimin was okay. There was a strange tension between them, not such a negative tension, but rather like someone who holds back something that is too deep to be spoken carelessly in a public place. When they stopped for a moment to wait for the examination of documents, that moment happened. Jungkook, who usually doesn't say much in public places, whispered something into Jimin's ear. And Jimin's response made everyone freeze. He turned his head slowly, looking at Jungkook with teary eyes, then bowed his head and wiped away his tears quickly. Not a single microphone caught the phrase. But one Japanese media outlet, who happened to be nearby, claimed that they managed to read Jungkook's lip movements. According to their report, Jungkook said, "If all this feels heavy, you don't have to endure it alone. I'm here." That sentence, though simple, instantly changed everything. The hashtags #JungkookAtIncheon, #You Don't Have to Be Alone, and #Jungkook Said It were trending across platforms in less than 2 hours. ARMY began flooding social media with theories, haru phrases, and support. Many felt that all this time Jimin shouldered great pressure alone, and that day, Jungkook made it clear that he would never let his best friend fend for himself again. In recent weeks, rumors about Jimin's mental condition have been circulating again. He is not active on social media, rarely seen in public activities, even several times absent from the internal military schedule that is usually attended by members on a regular basis. On the other hand, Jungkook is just getting more active, appearing in military broadcasts, attending special exercises, and even contributed voices to internal documentaries. However, some observant fans noticed that Jungkook's every move seemed to carry a hidden message. He once wore a bracelet made by Jimin, playing the song like crazy secretly in his practice, and write the word promise in a notebook that was seen in the documentation footage. All the signs point to one thing: he is waiting for someone to return. And that day at the airport was probably Jimin's return day, not just physically, but emotionally as well. When they finally got into the VIP car, the camera had time to capture one last moment. Jimin stared at the window glass, then turned to Jungkook and nodded slowly. The gesture was tiny, barely noticeable, but enough to make armies around the world cry, because it's like a thank you without words. One sentence from Jungkook, one light touch, one silent support, managed to touch Jimin's heart more than anyone could. After the luxurious black car carrying Jimin and Jungkook left Incheon VIP airport, many thought the story was over. But that's exactly where the real story begins. Where exactly did they go? What was the reason the two met secretly? And why did their mood look so heavy yet full of warmth? A few days after the incident, fanbase accounts known to have connections with HYB's management team began leaking additional clues. One of them said that Jimin and Jungkook were not heading to a military location, concert, or regular personal schedule. They are on their way to a secret location that they have planned themselves, away from the spotlight, away from the distractions of the world. Just for two. The location is said to be in a small house near Gangnam Beach, a place they used to visit secretly in the early years of BTS. A place that holds their memories before their names were known to the world, before the pressures of fame stole their breathing space. According to information circulating, this trip to Gangnam was not facilitated by HYB. Even some internal staff claimed not to know about Jimin's departure. He applied for a short leave from the military for personal reasons, while Jungkook adjusts his own schedule so that he can accompany him. Reports said that when they arrived at the location, Jimin immediately sat for a long time on the beach, staring at the sea without saying a word. Jungkook sat beside her, also silent. But in that silence, there is no distance. In fact, there is a comfort that can only be felt by two people who know each other too deeply. Some local witnesses said that the two stayed overnight at the place. They took with them only one small suitcase, no assistant, no camera, no manager. Just two young men looking for peace, and maybe you're fixing something you can't explain in a text message or a phone call, according to a reliable source who had eavesdropped on their conversation in a small restaurant near the beach. There was a moment where Jungkook finally said the thing that really touched Jimin's heart. "Hyung, I think you've been too busy trying to be strong for everyone, but you forgot to be strong for yourself." Jimin did not answer immediately. He just stared at Jungkook. And then a chuckle, a bitter but understanding laugh. Witnesses said Jimin and Jungkook chatted for a long time that night, discussing many things that had been hidden. They talk about changes in the group, pressure from the public, fear for the future, and also about the sense of loss that sometimes comes suddenly when everyone thinks they should always be happy. And among all those conversations, one of the most touching things was when Jimin said, "I think I lost myself, but you can always find her back for me." After 2 days of disappearing from radar, the two finally returned to Seoul. Jimin returned to his military responsibilities, while Jungkook attended internal events related to BTS's promotion for the end of the year. But something changed in their eyes. Jimin looks lighter. Not because all the problems have been solved, but because he knows now there is someone who stays with him, even when he himself didn't know how to proceed. And Jungkook, he looked calmer, as if his heart was no longer haunted by the worry that he had hidden behind a professional attitude. And although the outside world sees only a fragment of the moment, a short smile at the airport, a look that only lasts a few seconds. For those who have really followed Jimin and Jungkook's journey so far, it was enough to understand that something deep was happening. Something that cannot be explained in words, but it can be felt through body language, facial expressions, and the silence they share. For ARMY, this moment is not just a fan service or a brief reunion. This is proof that their bond is more than colleagues, more than brothers in the group. It's about two hearts keeping each other in silence, even as the world tries to pull them in different directions. Now, speculation has begun to emerge. Will this meeting be the beginning of a new collaborative work? Are Jungkook and Jimin putting together something behind the scenes that will rock the music scene once again? To be sure, after that night, nothing was the same. There's new energy, new hope, and love coming back, not just for BTS, but also for anyone who believes that true friendship can stand the test of time. And as they return to their respective paths, one thing remains clear: no matter how far they go, their hearts always know the way home. The airport today is not just a transit point to a foreign location. It was a witness to a friendship that grew in the midst of pressure, a witness to a bond that did not require big words or public declarations. As the world continues to move fast, Jimin and Jungkook show that what is needed most is not an instant solution, but someone who cares enough to say, "I'm here." And in Jungkook's soft whisper amid the hustle and bustle of the airport, the whole world stood still and listened.